Welcome back to the Marriagepreneurs Podcast, a space where faith meets strategy, partnership meets purpose, and legacy becomes a lifestyle. I'm your host, LaKisa Taylor-Allston, and today we're diving into a principle that changed the way that I think about money, goals, and marriage. It's a simple question, but it carries weight. It carries clarity. It carries accountability. The question is, do you know your number? Let's talk about it. Earlier this year, I was talking with Coach Joe Starter, someone who has poured into me, challenged me, and stretched my thinking in ways I didn't even know that I needed. In the middle of our conversation that we were having about business, he asked me, LaKisa, do you know your number? I paused because I thought I did. I thought I had a general idea. I thought I had a ballpark, but he wasn't asking for a ballpark. He wasn't asking for a vibe. He wasn't asking for a feeling. He was asking for a number, like a very specific, intentional, measurable number tied to my goals, my lifestyle, my business, and my legacy. And that question shifted something in me, because if you don't know your number, how do you know what you're working toward? What do your daily actions mean? What are they for? What habits are you building? What sacrifices are you producing? The number gives you purpose to your effort. And the number that I thought I knew when I was going to share my number with him was just saying how much I want to make off of a job or a project. But the question really came down to, how much does it cost to get you out of bed every day? Let's break it down. Your number is the amount you need to hit your financial goals. Okay. The amount required for you to live the life you desire, the amount tied to your long-term vision, the amount that makes your sacrifices make sense, and the amount that keeps you focused and intentional. Your number might be a monthly income goal, your yearly revenue target, a savings milestone, a debt payoff, a retirement number, a freedom number. I like that. Or a legacy number. Your number is the why behind your daily actions, why you're staying consistent, why you're building these systems, why you say no to certain distractions. You should say no to distractions, then why you stay aligned. When you know your number, you stop moving randomly and start moving intentionally. So here's what I'm saying to the marriagepreneurs. You must know your number. You must know your number because it matters so deeply to us, especially if you're an entrepreneurial marriage and you're full-time entrepreneurs. When you're building a business and a marriage, the clarity part is not optional on every level. It's essential. So knowing your number reduces the conflict. For example, my husband and I, we work together. We have a shared business. So when we do the number, I'm going to be compensated for my roles and responsibilities in the job as well as him. And I know the numbers when we're doing our estimating or budgeting for a project so that we are both meeting our individual financial goals. Knowing your number creates the alignment. It strengthens the communication. It builds the trust. So once again, using us as an example, I know when he's going out to a walkthrough and when I go out to a walkthrough, we're going to make sure that there's room for each other. Now, in every case and situation, there's not, but then we also let the customer or the client know you do not get that service if my wife or my spouse is not involved. It keeps us focused on our goals. It eliminates the confusion for sure, and it helps us to make decisions faster. When both spouses know the number, you're not just working, you're working together. It's no longer a hustle, you're building. You're not just trying to survive, you're actually strategizing. You're not dreaming, you're executing. And here's the part that most couples miss. You need to know your number individually and collectively. I already said that, but the two people, they don't count as one just because you're married. And people will ask you questions about that when you're potentially consulting or when you're doing jobs and both of you are, in a sense, I had somebody say, eating off of their project. Well, yeah, we are, because we're buying 2 meals for us, for 2 people, and we have individual needs and some individual goals within our marriage. So when you know your number and you know what motivates you, what drives you while you're working towards what you're working for, you feel secure because you've put a value on yourself. You feel and know what you need to actually be successful. When you're building and you know your partner's number, then now you know collectively what you need as a team. You can address those shared goals that you require together. You can build on your legacy and what it demands. You know what your lifestyle cost is together and what your future needs. So they absolutely both matter. So how do you identify this number? How do you actually figure out your number? Because this is where the clarity comes in. As I always say, it starts with your vision. What do you want your life to look like? What do you want your marriage, your business, or your legacy down the road to look like? The vision actually determines the number. And if you need some ideas, this is the only time I would say, not for comparison in a sense, but if you are seeking a business goal that you see someone else achieving, maybe just look at some of what they've put in, the work, assess the work and amount of work that they've put in to achieve that, if that's your motivation. But then you want to reverse engineer it and make it your own. Number 2, you should calculate your lifestyle cost, not just your survival, but your actual lifestyle. I can share with you that I used to have this concept of just covering my nut, meaning I just need to make enough money to do this, do that, and everything else is a bonus. And those bonuses would be for my vacation, maybe something that I wanted, a car or something. I don't know, just anything outside of my basic needs. But it also stalled in me in my entrepreneurial career, having this basic coverage concept. And I had that concept because I wanted to make sure that I was secure in since I didn't have a 9-to-5, certain roles like my property management business became sort of my 9-to-5. And it limited me in my thinking about all that I can do that I'm doing now today in real estate. So it's also about including your desires in your number and the life that you're building towards. You want to add in those financial goals, the savings, the investing, the debt paid off. When you're writing things down, you want to say, okay, this is what I need for my mortgage, my car note, my insurance, and this is what I need to save. All of that should be a part of your number. You should add in your business goals. What should your company be making? If you don't know, ask Google. If you're a franchisee, what's the average franchisee owner taking? If like Chick-fil-A is like $100,000 for one store, maybe with 2 partners. Do the research. It's out there. So you know how you can include your business goals in your number, your profit, your teams, your system. You need to know how much you have to pay employees for you to be successful. That is how you base your number. Because when you add all of these things together and reverse engineer your daily actions, then you'll know how many clients do I need to achieve that? How many products do I need to sell to achieve that? How many hours does it take me to get this done? Your systems, your human resources, your habits, and all of these things, they become your number compass. So knowing your number helps you to move with the power of intention. When you know this, you are very intentional, and that is a beautiful thing, because you just stop doing things just to do them or chasing every opportunity that comes along. You stop comparing yourself to others. You stop simply just wasting your time. You're moving with purpose. You're making decisions faster. When you know your number, when you know your purpose and why you're doing it, what that value is, you're going to build smarter and deeper. It will give you meaning to your movement. It gives you structure to your strategy. It gives you unity in your marriage. And that's why Coach Joe's question just stuck with me, because it wasn't about money. It was about a mindset. And you all know that I love talking about the mindset. And it is a mindset that every marriagepreneur should have. So as you move through this week, I want you to ask yourself, do you know your number? Do I know my number? Does my spouse know theirs? Do I know their number? Do we know our number together? Because the clarity creates confidence. Confidence creates consistency. Consistency creates wealth, and wealth creates legacy. Thank you for joining me today. If this episode blessed you, share it with another couple who's ready to build with intention. And don't forget to subscribe to the Marriagepreneurs at www.themarriagepreneurs.com. Until next time, keep building, keep believing, keep blossoming, and into everything that God has called you to be.